Hello and welcome everyone to the Week in 7 Questions, today with Dimitar Lilkov from the Martin Center. Fake news on vaccines. Are social media companies at all equipped to tackle the anti-vaxxer movement?
Well, yes, they are, but they're not doing their best. To their credit, social media companies have put effort to either remove misinformation or label this content as harmful. But there's lots of other problems. They're still lagging behind when it comes to smaller languages or involving independent researchers in the fight against anti-vaxxers. And finally, there are still concerns that digital companies are making money out of anti-vax ads.
And talking about COVID and vaccines, what is the impact of the pandemic on Europe's digital ambitions and its quest for so-called digital sovereignty?
Well, I hope it's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that we should be extremely smart in the way we organize our economic recovery and the way we invest the money when it comes to digital. I think we all want to hear a lot more about European advanced battery cells or better cloud infrastructure rather than about municipalities putting QR codes on rocks and tourist sites, which nobody really uses.
Trump's social media ban. Was it worth it?
Yes, I mean, clearly a line was crossed when his account basically encouraged mob violence. But this is ultimately a decision by tech executives and not by transparent actual rules. Another problem is that Google and Apple have the ultimate authority to kick mobile applications out of their app stores. So these company decisions have a massive impact on democratic discourse and also on business life.
On to China. Can social media shake up Chinese digital authoritarianism?
Great question. I think it's exactly the opposite. Social media and information technology in China is actually helping to strengthen Chinese digital authoritarianism and to strengthen the rule of the Chinese Communist Party. The most famous apps we're using in the West are banned in China. And I was even surprised that Clubhouse managed to stay online in China, where Chinese users for a couple of days could freely discuss the situation in Hong Kong or the atrocities which are happening in Xinjiang.
At the end of 2020, the European Commission presented the Digital Markets Act and the Digital Services Act, which both aim to impose binding regulation on the biggest digital platforms. Does this mean the end to free play for big tech?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. These are extremely ambitious proposals when it comes to the responsibilities of digital companies and updating the EU's competition rules. But it's going to take a long time before they see the light of day, and I expect a very, very heavy lobbying battle. However, it's also about time that some of the global democracies actually draft rules about digital companies, and I hope that the EU leads the way.
How could this impact the US EU digital policy agenda under the Biden administration?
Hopefully, in a positive way. The US authorities recently opened a huge antitrust case against Facebook, and members of the new Biden administration share some of the concerns of their European counterparts when it comes to tech. But it's not going to be smooth sailing, though. I think there will be heavy red lines between the two economic blocs on topics such as online privacy and especially digital taxation of multinational tech companies. So the Brussels bubble might be surprised to see the new president showing teeth on some of these issues.
And Tesla announced you can now buy your car with Bitcoin. Will European companies start cashing in on this trend too?
Well, question back to you. Are we witnessing the biggest pyramid scheme in history, or are we on the brink of a historic event? If the Tesla move is not just a stunt to hike up the price of Bitcoin, we might actually see more and more business and entrepreneurs jumping on the Bitcoin bandwagon. But I honestly don't know. It's interesting to observe. And also recently, the mayor of Miami is pushing so that his city can put crypto assets on its balance sheets. Christine Lagarde recently stated that global regulation should stop the Bitcoin funny business. So I think that the European Central bank is not amused at all.
Thank you, merci Dimitar, and see you all again next week with another surprise guest.